Hi, before we start the tutorial on the PRISMA2020 flow diagram app, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name's Pritchard. I'm a senior lecturer in paramedic practice and emergency care at Nottingham Trent University, and I'm also the maintainer of the PRISMA2020 flow diagram app. And I got involved with it just because I saw that there were some bugs that needed addressing, and I was in a position to address them, and I did. And here I am now maintaining the package. So I guess what I wanted to say with that is, the evidence synthesis community is a really welcoming one, and if you do see a package and you think, oh, you know what, actually there's something that I want from that, or there is a bug that needs fixing and you're in a position where you can help with that, just do it. Submit a pull request, and who knows, it could well be that you've addressed some issues that have been outstanding for a while. So absolutely, really hope you enjoy our package and hope you find this tutorial useful. And yeah, just remember to kind of get stuck in with the community. Thank you. Hello, welcome to this tutorial on the PRISMA flow diagram app, which we hope is very useful for you in making those flow diagrams, saving you fiddling around with word processors and all of that stuff. So I was going to talk through the website first and the web app version, and then after that go into a little bit more detail into using the template file to change specific aspects of the flow diagram, and also how you can use the R package. So to start with, we'll talk about the website. So all you need to do is visit the hosted Shiny app, or you can host it yourself, run the Shiny app directly from the R console. It's entirely up to you how you do this, but the hosted version is available and is used by thousands of people. So it's kind of stood the test of repeated access and high volume use. So the first thing you notice on the Shiny app is it takes you to the main home screen. So it's quite simple to get started. Click Create Flow Diagram above, or read the instructions below for more information. So we'll talk a bit about the stuff that's below and how to use the template CSV file a bit later. But for now, it's as simple as just going into Create Flow Diagram, and you can see you've got a flow diagram. And all you need to do is choose your options. So do you want to include previous studies? If a previous review has been done and you're including those studies in your review, or not, and it just changes the flow diagram for you. The other thing is study searches, where you've searched for studies through websites, organisations, citation searching, etc. These you will turn that on or off depending on whether you've done that, and again it just makes a section of the PRISMA diagram available or not. The other option, and this is new over the last sort of year or so, is the ability to report on and include individual databases and registers. So all you do to turn that on is change that to included, and you'll see the relevant option appears there. And then it's just fill in the numbers. If there is, however, something that you didn't do, so you didn't actually search registers, even if you should have done, you can just delete that 0 from the box, and it will not show up on your flow diagram. So if you've got anything that you specifically didn't want to show up, you can just delete the number from the box. And then it's as simple, you change the number, and the flow diagram changes. Now, the other thing with the specific database results is it's again as simple. You just you can see here this text here. We change the text database 1 to say Sinal, and say we found 5 results from Sinal. It is just as easy as that. So you've got your database name, a comma, a space, and then a number, and then a semicolon to separate records, and you can actually put as many of these as you want in. So if I were to, you can see the flow diagram itself grows as you add more databases in. So really it's really handy, and again you can also go down to just the one. So so that's really useful, and again just not included and it goes, and included and it comes back. And then it's just fill in the numbers with the numbers that you've got, and it should automatically generate. In terms of excluded reports and any box really where there's reasons, it's again the reason and then a comma, then the number, then a semicolon, and that's all you need to do. That's as simple as it is, and that will generate you a nice straightforward flow diagram in English for you to use in your paper, which is way more simple than faffing around with text boxes and stuff. You can download the image in any format you want amongst these choices. We've got PDFs, PNGs, SVGs, and also you can actually generate an interactive HTML file. So this is a standalone HTML file which contains all the resources bundled with it, and this one is a zip file containing an HTML file and the relevant assets. Now it is entirely up to you which of those you choose if you are going to use one. And we'll talk about the interactive HTML function a bit later, but if you want to find out more about that, you can read our paper, the PRISMA 2020 R-Package and Shiny app for producing PRISMA 2020 compliant flow diagrams with interactivity for optimized digital transparency and open synthesis, and you can read that in Campbell's systematic reviews. The other thing is, please remember to reference us when you do use our app. So all you do, you can see the reference comes up when you download a copy of the flow diagram. So it's fine if you want to do your very straightforward flow diagrams. You can also click a button to reset back to the default if you've made any mistakes or don't know where to start. Say you've deleted a box or something. But the next thing we're going to talk about is a bit more about the template CSV file, because that now allows for a bit more customization. So we've got the template CSV file here. You just download it straight off the Shiny app, and you can see here we've actually got things that say box text and tooltips. So these can actually be customized by you. So say previous studies, say I wanted that title box to say old reviews. I can save that in there, choose my CSV file, and if you look here, now you can see that I've actually changed the title of the box. So if you're doing a review in a language other than English, you can use that CSV file to actually alter the text of the relevant parts of your review. So that's really useful with in order to generate, as I said, flow diagrams in languages other than English. It's the same as on the web app. You put your numbers in the column labeled N, so that's as simple as possible. And again, it's the name of the database, comma, space, and then the number with semicolons. So that's all there is to filling in your own numbers there. You'll see this box labeled URL. So what that means is that if we generate an interactive HTML version of the app, so sorry, flowchart, as you saw, there was that option on the website to download them. This is basically the URL, the link to the HTML page that's going to link to. So that means that what you can have is a flow diagram that if we download an interactive HTML version, actually links different bits, will link to an HTML file called the title that you've put in the URL box, which is really handy if you wanted to kind of link across into more information. So I'll just quickly show you an example of that. So if we have a look here, you can see that we've got the flow diagram here, and if I click on this here, you can see that that's then taken us to another page with some more information about the search results. So you can use that really to be extremely novel in your way of reporting. So you can even have links. So here what we've done is in identification and use studies for databases and registers, we've actually reported our search strategies on that page. So you can really make that as interactive as you want in order to kind of make your flow diagram a key part of your reporting, particularly if you're using a sort of non-traditional format of reporting. So you saw that we had a demonstration website, which it could be a really accessible way of reporting your review to lay audiences, whilst also making sure that you have the rigor in your reporting available for those who want it. So so that was just a quick overview really of the website version of the Prisma Flow Diagram app. I hope you found it really helpful. The next thing I was going to talk about was the R package. So you can also use the Prisma Flow Diagram app in your R project. I'm using Visual Studio Code instead of RStudio, but that's just personal preference. So it's pretty straightforward to use. So basically, you read in the CSV file using read.csv. So make sure you're in the correct directory, and then read in the CSV file. So I use read.csv, and that goes there. And then you need to so after you've installed the package, which is available from CRAN, you can use the Prisma data function to import the CSV file basically into your into your project. So Prisma data CSV. So you do that, and then data contains the CSV file basically formatted in such a way that the next function that we're going to use will use it. So you just read in the template CSV, so you can see that here, and that's to do is actually generate the flow diagram. So that's the Prisma flow diagram function that you can see here. So again, if I just go okay, so you can see that there's actually quite a few options available, so many of which have defaults. So interactive, the default is false, but if you set it true, it will generate one of those interactive HTML files for you. That's those options to show previous or other versions of the study. Detailed database, detailed registers, again showing the detail of those extra things. So let's make detailed databases is actually going to be true now. You can customize the font size and font. You can change the color of any boxes that you want as well, and you can also remove the side boxes. You know, these blue boxes again if you would like. So that's that. So if I run that, let's see that, and then if I open flow, you can see that I've actually created a flow diagram, and it's used the data that's on my. Sorry, it's a bit small. You can't really see it because it's open in Visual Studio Code. But it's actually used the data that we were looking at earlier with my PRISMA CSV. Then the next function that you might want to look at is the PRISMA save function. So pretty much that will allow you to save a flow diagram. So you need to add a plot object. So plot obj is actually the flow diagram that we've just created, and then it defaults to saving it as an HTML file. However, we can call it whatever we want. So say I wanted to call it what it will do is it will pick up the extension of your file name and smartly select the appropriate output function, output type from that file name. So flow.png, if I run that, you will be able to see that takes a little while to save it. You'll be able to see that it's created an output file. It's actually outputted the name of that file, and then if I just open that, you can see that I've created a PNG file, and I can do the same with an SVG. So, again, takes a little while to save, and this is all that the website's doing behind the scenes. The Shiny app is just running these commands with this package. So again, we've got an SVG and a PDF. So let's look at the SVG. If I just open that, we've got the SVG and PDF. I would say that your SVG is probably the best option because it zooms in. It's a vector format. Much like PDF, but probably more widely supported by like web browsers and stuff. And then you can also output your interactive HTML and save that as well. So I hope that was helpful for you all. You know, as I said, it's a useful way of generating these PRISMA flow diagrams and improving the standard of your paper very easily without having to fiddle around with Microsoft Word and text box positioning and stuff. Hopefully you found it really easy to use. The other thing I just wanted to show you on the website actually, while I remember, was we've now got the ability to actually import results, put results directly into the website. So all you do is the columns on the CSV, so the data column has, as you can see, some specific arguments there, some titles. All you do is you append those titles with an equal and the thing. Any numeric ones, so I can't, not the specific databases or specific registers where you've got to do commas and semicolons, but any numbers you can just import directly, and you can see here that websites and organizations have now been pre-filled there. If you've used Rayan, I don't know if you have, but this was contributed back into our code base by them because they've implemented it in their in their sort of web app. So the online version of their web app actually has a flow diagram built in, and you can launch our app straight from there, and it will pull across your results. So again, really handy. and a big thanks to them for contributing that back to us, because it's a very useful feature to enable you to integrate the app directly into your own tools. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.